Number one, I thought that was a gross neglect by Ryan Day. And and also what I will say too is we are on the Michigan channel. So set that aside. What I want to make sure that we do is give not only Jim Harbaugh, but also those leaders on that Michigan football team, because this is a big deal. Like I want to make sure that here on the Michigan channel, the Michigan football, the voice of college football, you are an underdog. You are I think an 8-point, maybe 9-point underdog in this game on the road. And without Blake Corum, without Mike Morris, and other guys banged up, you went out and dominated the second best team in the country per the college football playoffs rankings. I don't know what the final is. I think it's 45-23, something in that range.
Des,
But like,
I want you to keep going. Des, I want you to keep going.
Go ahead.
Let's just call it what it is. Ohio State was one of the national championship preseason favorites coming into this season.
Yeah,
Not just to win the Big Ten, they were one of the national championship favorites coming into the season, along with Georgia and Alabama and the rest of the big boys. So, and they were undefeated coming to this game. So they were.
And I want to make sure that we are. I want to make sure we're giving them enough credit. Like we're talking about different things, and that's all great because everything factors into the game. But if you are a Michigan fan today, right now, you should be excited that you did not have your fastball and you dominated the second best team in the country. Like I just want to make sure that is encapsulated in what we talk about because it's important. You know what I mean? Like because if we don't use the college football playoff rankings as far as how we talk about teams, then what the heck are they for? So for me, I want to make sure that we are consistently going back to that because I mean, Dre, we had a conversation on Wednesday, and you were very concerned. Like, I'm not quite sure that our team can go on the road with just all of the circumstances and win. And your team went out and not only won, but they dominated that game. Like, you know what I mean? Like the last 4
and they were
minutes
justifiable reasons
were
too.
not even in question. The last 4 minutes weren't in question. It was just like, yo, we're just outrunning the clock. Like this is, you know what I mean? Like, so I just want to make sure that. Number one, we're giving your team and everybody who's viewing us. We got 650 people on the line right now, but I want to make sure that we are giving Michigan the due credit that they are deserved because this is a huge win. This is a monumental
more
win.
Important than last year.
I want to make sure we do that.
Yeah, more important than last year. You know, because last year was an exercising of the demons. You know, it was getting over the mountaintop, but this was okay. Was last year a fluke? Ohio State's ticked off. You know, they're painting their helmets. You know, maize and blue with stripes on them, right? Like they had this game circled all year, right? Because they were not going to allow Michigan to come out and do that to them again. They brought in Jim Knowles, a well-respected defensive coordinator. They went all in that we have got to get it right this year. We cannot lose again to that team up north, as they call us. And by all means, they gave their best effort today, too. They gave their best effort in Michigan with everything going against them, came into their house with Ohio State playing with a sense of desperation. You know how you could tell Ohio State was desperate? About midway through that third quarter, and I think Joe Klatt pointed out, or Gus Johnson, one of them did, you could see Ohio State starting to get tight. The pressure started to creep up on them because they understood the importance of winning this football game, right? This is everything. And look, was Patrick our guest on Wednesday? Is it Pat? Our guest on Wednesday, I think it's his name. Forgive me if I got his name incorrect. Well, our Ohio State guest last week brought it up and made a great point that, you know, for Ohio State fans, this is incredibly important. It didn't matter that they have won 18 out of the last 20 or whatever it was, because of the historical context of going through bad years like they did under Cooper, and so there was a sense of desperation everywhere for Ohio State to get this done, and they gave Michigan their best shot, and they were dominated at home. That speaks volumes. And Des, we talked about this as well before the season. You remember we said this was a grand opportunity. This is one of those swing seasons where it's one thing to have a magical year and everything falls together and you're able to beat your rival and get to the playoffs. It's another where if you do it 2 years in a row and you do it at their house, now you're talking about a potential changing of the guard, if you will. A swing, a legitimate swing in this rivalry. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but when you do something like this, that's the momentum and that's the type of energy change that typically ensues afterwards. And that's why it's big on all fronts. You know, I could imagine what an Ohio State channel looks like right now. I'm
I
sure
was
they're
just
upset,
I was just
and
thinking
also
that.
part
I'm
of
like, I
technically,
wonder what they are feeling right now. Oh man, it's got to be
I'm
tough.
sure they're upset.
It's got to be tough.
I'm sure they're upset. You know, we've been there.
But
Deal with it.
but honestly, like I'm not sure that if you're on the Ohio State channel and you are being honest about this game, I'm not sure you can look at it and just say, "Oh, we missed these three plays." Like you got beat, and that's football. Like that's what it is. But I'm not sure you can look at for example, I'm a Michigan or Alabama fan, and so I obviously was watching football when the kick six happened. And if I, as an Alabama fan, I look at it and I say, had that kick just went out, let's say Alabama missed a kick, but it went out of the back of the end zone, I would say we still would have beaten Auburn. I may be wrong, but whatever. That's all up to conjecture. But if you're Ohio State, you can't say the same thing about this game, right? Because
No,
what play do you point to say, oh well, had that play gone differently, we would have won? Like it, you in the second half, you legitimately got ran off the field, like like you did. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, I want to keep backtracking to the fact that you went into the second team who was the team ranked second in the college football playoff. You went to their house and in a rivalry game where we all know crazy things happen in rivalry games. We all know that. You went there and dominated that team. Dominated that team. Like that, I want to make sure because I do understand there is a certain just a certain reputation that a Michigan fan gets, and that you're irrational and things like that. I want to make sure that we are clear about that. Like, no. This Michigan team went there, played in the one or two best home field advantages in the conference, right? We could probably argue maybe Iowa, and then I would say from there Ohio State. Like as far as the toughest places to go and play, and you dominated that team.